I've been always, passionate about real estate, right? And like investing was my passion, and the other business was my day job. Early days, Caliber was my day job, Rain City is my day job, and then investing was like what I was excited and to do. And I always tell people, you'll see on social media like, I quit my job today, and everyone's celebrating like I'm a full-time flipper. Like that's the worst thing you can possibly do.
That's the goal.
It's the worst thing. No, you need your day job. You need to pay your bills. The minute that you start, the minute you leave your job to go flip houses full time, now your mortgage, your car payment, your expenses, the food, the groceries is all relying upon your flips. Mm-hmm. Where we're lucky, and that's why I think it's super fortunate if you're in the lending business or you're a real estate agent. You're prime to get a day job. You don't have to be passionate about it, but make sure that's going to pay your bills and take care of you so that you can go out there and grow a real estate portfolio. Grit, grind, and patience, and just come in. And the other thing is someone might make 100 calls a week, 100 calls a day for months, and they don't have any loans. This isn't working. No, it's working, right? But you're just planting all these seeds, because you can call up me right now. I own a couple hundred units and be like, oh, this guy's a whale. I'm not looking to buy right now. That doesn't mean that I might not be in a month or 6 months or a year, but you can get a hold of investors that are not super, or maybe they're mid flip and they're 3 months out. That's fine. You're going to call them every month for 3 months and just check in and see how they're doing. But it's not an instant gratification game. So you might have made 100 calls, had 15 to 20 conversations of letting them know who you are, introducing you to them. You might be calling on that person for a year or two.
What up? It's Fred Ray, the guy who started Rain City Capital back in 2009 when private lending wasn't exactly the cool kid on the block. Welcome to Good Nuggets, a podcast that's as much about the failures and holy shit moments as it is about the wins. Here's the deal. I've watched people go from nearly walking out of the door to becoming absolute powerhouses in this business. We'll get into the weeds with loan officers, talk strategy with fellow lenders, and swap war stories with entrepreneurs who have been there. No fluff, no corporate BS. Just authentic conversations and practical takeaways you can actually use. So grab whatever you're drinking, get comfortable, and let's get after some good nuggets. We are here with my business partner, longtime friends, Mr. Ian Morell. Yay! Applause.
Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you. The coffee is too full. We're doing this in the morning because we got shit to do this afternoon.
That's right.
But we're going to start out with, I guess, some fun facts.
All right.
You were a zombie apocalypse prepper. True or false?
I mean, Jeff likes to say that I was a prepper. I just like the idea of, shooting zombies. That we kind of obsessed with that whole thing. I got into the whole zombie movie and show thing. And so I've had all these thoughts, if it were to happen in my neighborhood, where I would post up, whose house I'd be. Yeah. So I've got it all figured out. If it does happen, I'll be prepared.
Okay. This one's an interesting one.
Okay.
You once filled up your brother's truck, also a fellow Rain City employee,
yep.
Mr. Ryan Morell, and dumped hundreds of rolls of toilet paper on a friend's front door.
Yes.
So tell us about that story.
I think it was 108 rolls of toilet paper, and this whole senior prank thing that you do. And we 108 rolls.
Was that a specific reason why
it
you got
just
108?
I don't know.
Just
There
a
were
lot.
X amount that ended up being 108. We counted as we were going through the line. The cashier was she was like, "Where are you guys going after this? Can you give me the address so I can drive by?" And we ended up getting pulled over, my brother's car, on the way. And the cops saw all the toilet paper. It wasn't just in the trunk, it was everywhere. And I think he asked me, he's like, "So can you guys explain the toilet paper?" And I started going off about grandma who is sick. And my brother just said, "Ryan, he's like, we're going to go TP someone's house." And the cop's like, "All right, don't get caught and just let us go." And this guy had some beautiful trees in the front yard, and we streamed it. And it was the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. We were so proud. And that was kind of our masterpiece of the night. That was the big one. We've definitely been around the neighborhood wreaking havoc, the streets of Everett growing up.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What's a fun fact that no one knows about you that everybody needs to know?
I don't know if anyone needs to know this, but it's an interesting fact that you just found out recently that I was a drummer for a punk band. And I went through a couple different phases growing up. But if you could ever find 15, 16-year-old Ian with his black spiked hair drumming at Battle of Bands festivals. The rest of the band was in their early 20s, and I was still in high school. So, and they were all pretty talented. I think I was just the guy they needed to plug in. by the time we started getting like some notoriety in the area, they ditched me and they ended up touring with MXPX, which I was a big fan of. So they actually made it like pretty far locally, but it was a good like 9 months to 12 months that I was doing gigs,
like actually
drumming.
Gigging. So I've known this guy for a decade, shit you not, and he's got a little drum pad on his desk, and I was like, "This is like a fidget thing, like or
I'm
something."
I like twirl the drumsticks sometimes.
Like this. No clue that he was a drummer when he was 15, and this is like what he does.
I don't usually lead with that. I mean, it doesn't really come up in conversation. Like I was a punk drummer once, you know.
But like being an EO and like you tell all these random stories about it, like each other and people and whatnot. I feel like that's one that that I would hear at least at some point. But,
I'll make sure to bring that up. It was a short stint, but it was definitely like memorable for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds like fun.
Yeah.
All right, so we want to give good nuggets, right? We want to I want to help people in this industry and or really anywhere else, entrepreneurs in general. You are both. Obviously, do you want to just tell us a little bit of like some of your like business journey? Obviously, you're in the mortgage business and been doing this a long time, but you've kind of done a lot, and you own a bunch of real estate. You've been through market cycles, both good and bad. Do you want to just talk about like some of your like business horizon?
Yeah. So I think like I believe in a lot of like what happens to you in life is taking advantage of opportunities. Not a lot of it is like luck, being in the right place at the right time, but also the skill of like recognizing that this is an opportunity.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't think like I think about my journey. I don't think like I'm like particularly awesome at anything. I think I'm just really good at recognizing an opportunity. And I was in the mortgage business for, I think like 4 or 5 years at this point, just doing the conventional mortgage stuff. And I'm going to try to make this not a super long drawn out story, but I met my wife. In Vegas. Zach Lazo, who's my business partner with all my real estate. His bachelor party. My wife was there for her 21st birthday party. We met. It just happened to be like walking by each other in the middle of the night. It's kind of a crazy story. Long distance relationship. Moved her to Seattle, and she was looking for a job, and she had like escrow experience or whatnot. Well, there's a company called Foreclosure Solutions back then, and their job was to stop foreclosures from happening. So they needed a short sale negotiator. So they hired her, and I remember she'd have to get in the office like 6 a.m., this 9 a.m. on the East Coast, the day of auction. And see, as you know, auctions are every Friday. So every Friday morning, she'd have to get there at 6 a.m. and call the banks and say, hey, can you stop this foreclosure? We're going to pay it off. We're going to pay the arrears. Just give us another month. We're going to close. So she ended up applying and getting that job. And I started like just kind of watching her journey. And she wasn't happy there. So she left to work for a hard money lender. So she's been in the business longer than I have. Maybe longer than you have. I mean, it was like
2002 for me.
Yeah, not longer than you have, but yeah. That's when I started the mortgage stuff. But she got in the hard money stuff like around 06 or something like that. And I used to say the guy that hired me was lucky that he found me, and I was lucky that I found him, because he hired me without even meeting me. He literally walked by. It was just Jillian and him. And he's like, your husband's in the mortgage business, right? I need a loan officer. Because prior, he was the only guy, just a small fund. And I took the job, and I started going down the foreclosure auction. And again, I said I'd make this story quick, but this is a good story. I remember the guy, my boss at the time, he was kind of all over the place, right? He was a little bit of a spaz. And I'm like super green. I'm young, nervous. My first day, we're supposed to go to auction. I'm going to pick up $3 million of checks. And at the auction, as you know how it works, is you buy a house for $342,000, you're going to do like Monopoly, 100, 100, 100, and a 50. And then $8,000 refund is going to come in a couple of weeks. So I had to pick up like a big envelope full of checks for $3 million my first day.
It's nerve-wracking as fuck, too.
Dude.
Having that much money like in your hands, you're like, ah!
And he said, hey, I'm going to meet you at the auction. I'm going to walk through how it works and who we're lending to and all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I've got the checks. I'm on my way. I'm driving down there. He calls me. He's like, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it today. So you're on your own. By the way, don't let anyone buy a property unless there's an investor on it. So what that means is there are bid service companies out there that are representing investors. So if you say, hey, I want to buy a house at auction, you go to these guys, and they're going to supply all the data, and you're going to come to me as a lender, get pre-approved. I'm going to lend to you at the auction. So they're supposed to give us a list of properties they're interested in buying before auction, right? And I didn't have that list of people or anything. So I go there, like my heart is pounding out of my chest. And I'm trying to figure out like who I'm supposed to lend money to. And then all of a sudden we bought a property and someone's like, hey, they need the money. And I'm like, I remember pulling out that money and my hand's like shaking. And I don't know if I'm supposed to pass it over or not. Boss isn't picking up my phone. I don't remember I think I handed over like 300,000 after like 20 minutes of being on the job, like shitting my pants, not knowing if I was supposed to lend to this person. But it was kind of like my intro into this business. And I think that started in 2007, maybe. And I think that's where I met you in that journey. There's probably not a 10-year period, maybe a dozen times in 10 years that I wasn't at the Seattle courthouse every Friday. I was like the money guy at the auction.
Fucking grind, yeah.
So I was down there and like I saw a bunch of people buying properties and making some money. It was a good time back then. Like they would come to the meeting after they bought a property 2 months later and be like, hey, how was that deal? Oh, we made 40 grand. It was easy. So I called a couple buddies of mine that had more money than me at the time. I didn't have a whole lot of money. And I was like, hey guys, this is easy money. Let's get in. And we started buying flips. And that was in 2009. We bought our first flip. And I was at the auction. I was always in second place to the investors. But as you know, randomly, like a last minute bid will come up.
Yeah, shit pops up.
I'm just standing there.
Yeah.
And we've already driven it. I know everything about it, but I don't have any investors on it. So I built my portfolio for like the first 5 or 6 years, just being at auction with money. Mm-hmm. Like 4 other people. Every once in a while something happens. I'm like, hey, Dave, Zach, who are my partners, there's this deal. Like, here's the deal. Look at it. Zach gets on the computer, comps it. He's like, we'll go to 300. And of course we get to 300 and it ends up being 310, 320, but I'm only bidding against one person. So that was kind of like, we were kind of fortunate to be in that position. Purchased, I think we ended up doing 40 flips in the first year, 40 flips in the first 3 years or something like that. And that's where I met Fred. Fred he was that nerd in oversized jeans and glasses that would stand in the corner of the auction and not talk to anyone. And when you're at the auction, it starts at 10 a.m. Sometimes it ends at 2 and you're just standing outside all day. And so you get to kind of know and chat with people. And you always had a good reputation. No one ever said anything bad. And you just show up every once in a while, like buy something small. I remember your loan amount average had to have been like $80,000. 60. Wow.
60. That's why I ended up going down to Pierce County.
Yeah.
You're like, nah, I just couldn't afford King County.
And you remember I remember you would run out of money a couple times, and then I'd go around and try to swoop up as many of your clients.
Yeah, what a dick.
And then I'd try to sell you loans back.
Yeah, try to sell me shitty loans. Hey man, I know Fred. Fuck yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's season, so we got to get it off our books. I'm like, no, it's a good deal, man. You bought some deals, right? No, you said no to all of them.
No, I said no to every single one.
All right, fair enough. So we competed for a while. I wasn't happy where I was at, and I decided to leave spontaneously. With David and Zach, we owned a bunch of real estate at the time. We decided to go start like a bid service over here. The company that I left ended up going down, so we inherited all their clients. So immediately, like 6 months into our new business, we were replacing all of the business that the other company had done for 5 or 6 years. But I still had a big book and hard money. I love hard money. And I remember, I've told the story before, so you're very familiar with it. But at the time, I was like the hot girl at the dance. Everyone was like, this guy with a big book of business. And this is like hard money in 2012 or whatever. Like it wasn't like it is today.
Yeah, like 2013. It's definitely very different.
Yeah, it was like the few mom and pop lenders with some, country club money. There was no institutional money in the game or anything like that.
Not yet.
And I remember like sitting down with like 3 competitors, and I got some offers of like salaries, bonuses, management, all this stuff. And you probably had the smallest fund out of all of them. You did, by far, right?
For sure, yeah.
And I remember meeting you.
12 or 15 million at the time. It wasn't much.
I remember meeting you at a Starbucks, and you had a hoodie on, and it was Caroline Point. Mm-hmm. And you said, I want to make you my partner. And that was like, there's not going to be a salary, no bonus, no management because it's just you and I, but I want to make you partner. And that was, and you had a great reputation. And that was like, that's what it took. And so that was 13, I think it was, when we joined forces. Mm-hmm. And my other company, Caliber, would supplement the business and send all the business over, and that kind of helped us get started. I remember an email. I told you this recently, but I found an email in our inbox from like that time, and you had sent me an email. We were celebrating because we just funded 1.7 million in 1 month. Like we were celebrating 1.7. We killed it. And like, what did we do? 56 last month, right? Mm-hmm. So 1.7 was like, so it's kind of fun to see that and kind of the journey and where we've come.
10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, so like, but during this time, so you kind of told some of the origin story. I think you have, one of the things that I think you undersell or don't necessarily think about yourself, but a lot of the value that you give to the people that are here and or our clients or investors is like, you flipped a lot of houses, right?
Yeah.
But you've also, you still have a giant portfolio with Dave and Zach, and you've kind of like run around and, repositioned a bunch of it and whatnot. So like, I guess, how has that been impactful for your life, or how do you think about that business? Because now, I mean, you're spending, however, 90% of your time working on this business.
Yeah.
I guess, how do they mold together? And what are the takeaways or things that you would give to people that are in this business that are like, hey, if you are doing a hard money business, I would look at doing this too from a real estate perspective.
For sure. I've been always, passionate about real estate, right? And like investing was my passion, and the other business was my day job. Early days, Caliber was my day job, Brain City is my day job, and then investing was like what I was excited to do. And I always tell people, you'll see on social media, like, I quit my job today, and everyone's celebrating, like, I'm a full-time flipper. Like, that's the worst thing you could possibly do.
That's the goal.
It's the worst thing. Yeah, you need your day job. You need to pay your bills. The minute that you start, the minute you leave your job to go flip houses full time, now your mortgage, your car payment, your expenses, the food, the groceries is all relying upon your flips. Mm-hmm. Where we were lucky, and that's why I think it's super fortunate if you're in the lending business or you're a real estate agent, you're prime to get a day job. You don't have to be passionate about it, but make sure that's going to pay your bills and take care of you so that you can go out there and grow a real estate portfolio. And a crazy story about Zach and I, Dave and I, when we first got together, that one deal, I think I put in 10 grand. Like I said, didn't have a ton of money. I think, Dave put in 30, Zach put in 40, whatever it was like less than $100,000. We did our first flip in Bellevue. We made 40. So we came out of it with like 130. We did another one, then we did 2, and then we did 4. And to this day, we've never put $1 into the portfolio. So we put less than 100 grand to seed like a $40 million plus portfolio. And I think that's a really cool story about like we would leverage and pull cash out and buy more. But we had to make sure, like, we would never have grown that if we quit our day jobs.
Yeah. If that was your day job, then you would have had to continue to pull money out of it. So
we just threw everything back in.
Yeah.
And it's like, people say all the time, like, wow, you have all this real estate. I can't buy groceries with it. Like, it sits there. It's cool. Like watching your 401k grow over time. Like, I'm not touching it. It's not affecting my lifestyle. So if I want a nice house and a nice car, I better do really well at my day job. Mm-hmm. Right. And I think that's where people struggle. And then the other part is, you get a down market, you don't have to flip. You can step on the brakes. The minute you quit your day job, you're signing yourself up to be a flipper in every market.
Yeah. No matter what.
So that would be my first advice, is like, start out being the weekend warrior is what they call them, where you're just going and flipping on the weekends, or find a partner who's a contractor. Find a partner who is a real estate agent if you have a 9-to-5, so they can be flexible. But I would rather I'm a third partner of this entity with these guys. I would rather have a sliver of equity and set it up right than trying to take on 80-100% of something without support and help, where I'm just going to fail.
Yeah.
Right. So I would say, choose your partners wisely. Make sure that, you together, you don't have the same strengths, right? You don't have the same weaknesses. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think that's a big part of it. And I don't know if you want to put this on the podcast, but I'm going to say it. I was talking to someone. I've never said this publicly, but I was talking to a friend of mine. I think you'd get a kick out of this. That is also an investor in the Pacific Northwest. And I just had a moment of vulnerability. It's like, man, I think we got really lucky to get where we're at right now. Like, I don't think we were really good at this. I really don't. Like, I think we were just timing, we were literally stubbing our toe, losing money, making bad decisions. Because the problem with my partnership, these guys are brothers to me. I love them. We're all kind of similar. None of us are like analytical. Like we didn't have a flip calc at the beginning. Like we didn't know what accounting was. We just like ran 100 miles an hour. We were so fortunate that we were in the Pacific Northwest for 10 years, like right as Amazon and Microsoft. Like 2009 to 2019 was just a, bull crazy. And for us, that was normal. Like that's all we ever knew. And we would not be where we're at if we were in the Midwest or if we were like in
you wouldn't see that appreciation anymore.
40 states in this country, 45 states in this country. And I think what's interesting is when you go to some of these, and again, I'm not trying to shit on anyone, but you go to some of these like real estate seminars, you've got gurus on stage. There's a reason why most of them are from the Pacific Northwest. I just went to a conference in Texas and like 80% of the speakers were from Seattle.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not taking anything against them at all, but I do think that we really have to be grateful for the market that we're in. And if I started today or 5 years ago, it would have been such a slower trajectory. I still think it's the easiest way to like create wealth and build, like that's been proven. There's no other way that you can retire and build wealth like real estate. But I do think that people could be like spoiled and not realize it. Like we took some serious baths. I'm taking one on my Austin portfolio right now. And it's like humbling. You're like, fuck, I'm not really that good at this, or I don't really have the time. I've just been fortunate enough to be bailed out by this amazing market.
Yeah.
And so I think that if you're starting today, I don't want to say don't listen to those gurus, but they're going to tell you it's easy. They're going to tell you that, I mean,
so they can sell you a fucking coaching program and like help you walk through it. And but to your point, like the point that you're making to everything is like from your real estate portfolio, it was time. You had the ability, and because you had cash flow, because you had other things happening that you didn't have to pay your bills with, that you could afford the amount of time that it took to weather the storm up or down.
Yeah,
it's time.
Exactly. And you can sit out.
Yeah.
Like I'm sitting out right now, to be honest with you. I fucking love this job. This is my passion. I don't want to buy another piece of real estate right now. Like I'm in the business of like lending money to people that are investing, but where I'm at today, I get an email every single day about some shit breaking on a house. I'm just like so done with it. It's painful for me at this point.
I've been doing this shit for so long.
Yeah, it's just I love doing what we're doing now. So this job was an awesome opportunity for me to like truly. And I was the CEO for 10 years, and I do not want to be the CEO ever again. Right? Like sorry, Fred. I know where you're sitting, and I think this is where I'm at today. Just sales and marketing is like where I was supposed to be, and that's what you want to do what you love to do. And if you love to do it, it's easy. Mm-hmm. And this is what I love to do. And being a CEO for me and my personality, like all the shit you've got to deal with.
I tell you right now, today and this week or the last 2 weeks or the last fucking month, it blows ass.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks for sharing a little bit more about the story and what you're doing. I think, like I said, it's like it's understated. You don't necessarily sit out there like, yeah, I own a bunch of fucking real estate and I crush it. Like, one of the things I've always appreciated about you is definitely humble.
Thank you.
But that's what a lot of people look up to you for, because you're doing this and you got that over there. But I think that's maybe a story that you tell a little bit more. Just in general, it's like, hey, you gotta have this baseline so I can, pay your rent and buy groceries and take a vacation every once in a while, and then you can start adding those pieces on. And I think, like I said, a lot of people, they sell that dream. Like, you could quit your 9 to 5 and blah, blah, blah. And don't get me wrong, they fucking should. But maybe
a lot later than they think they should.
Maybe it's a little bit later. Maybe you think about it a little bit earlier too, but fuck, I don't know. Whatever. So I always give the opportunity for whoever's sitting in that seat to ask me a question. Okay. One question, you only get one, and hopefully I'll answer it. So you got a question for me?
Let's see. I guess I think this question might have been asked, so maybe if this one, if I need to ask another one, I can. But like, what does your end game look like? Like, at what point are you like, hey, I did what I was trying to do, I'm out?
Definitely. I think we've talked about this a little bit, but I'm an entrepreneur. I don't know anything different. And on a scale of 1 out of 10, 10 being like the most entrepreneurial person ever, I'm like a fucking 11. Highly unemployable. I can't work for anybody else. And the other thing too is I have no discernible skills aside from this business. I might be selling myself
park cars.
Yeah, I can park cars.
Yeah.
I'm fucking great at that.
Good at that.
I back my truck in every fucking day.
Yeah.
I'm always like, oh, you're showing off again. I'm like, I just want to be able to get in my truck and go. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. That's beside the point. I love you, babe. I've thought about selling. I've been offered to sell. There are times where the business is difficult, and I really do. I'm like, oh, hit the fucking easy button. But all I'd be doing is I would have more money in my bank account, and I would be putting all of that money into something else.
Yeah.
And I would be right back in the same seat that I am today. And knowing full well this is where I'm going to end up full circle anyway, like, why not do it with the people that I've like curated over a long period of time with you, where I get to have fun and do it?
Yeah.
And like, what's the point of it all? I'm good at this. I like it. It's rewarding. It's fun. It pays my bills. It is my day job.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see myself quitting. I mean, I won't quit in general just because of how I am as a person, but
maybe take on less responsibility.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, the end game is, like I did an exercise with my coach where I was like, it's the perfect life exercise of, what do you, if you were living your perfect life every single day, what would you be doing? And first 2 hours of the day, working out, doing something active and fun. 4 hours in the middle of the day, 3 hours in the middle of the day, making investments, pushing stuff around, and feeling that entrepreneurial thing that goes in there. Last 2 hours of the day or the rest of the day, I'm out fucking around with my friends, playing golf, which I suck at, playing pickleball or doing something active as well. Like, that is my perfect life. So if I can design this over the next 5 years or 10 years or whatever it is to be doing that, there's no reason why I would do anything else. So
awesome. Great answer.
There's never enough, because it's not about the enough.
Yeah.
There's like, that's always the question, is like, at what point is there enough?
Yeah.
And for me, the money is the byproduct of the things that I do. And it's not about the bank account at the end of the day. I really don't give a fuck about it. Yeah. Like, more or less makes my life easier or harder. But it's really kind of, it's a byproduct.
Yeah.
Irrelevant.
It's not why you're doing this.
Yeah. It's the thing that I love to do is this.
Yeah.
And why? I don't know. I think I'm broken many days, but whatever.
Yeah.
So you oversee sales and marketing for sure.
Yep.
You have a bunch of loan officers, some good or bad. Hopefully there'll be a loan officer that sees this on socials or listen to this. Either working for Rain City or thinking about Rain City or working somewhere else. If they just sat in the seat today, they're listening to this today, wherever they're working, what advice would you give them to be successful?
Someone like starting off, or someone.
Yeah, something brand new, or even if they're going to another company.
Yeah, I think that obviously, like, when you get in this business, and anyone who's started recently, you'll realize how hard it is. Especially, I mean, even more right now than it was when we started, because there's so much competition. I mean, there's more investors, but everyone's calling, everyone's marketing to the same people. So how do you get from 0 to 2 million, which is maybe you're making 10, 12 grand a month, maybe.
Yeah.
Right. Like, that's not even like where we want to end up, but that's the hardest, 0 to 2. And everyone wants to be where some of our rock stars are, where they just pick up the phone. Like, we've got, I would say, half our squad that never needs to make another outgoing call. All they have to do is manage the incoming and service their clients. And they're not selling, they're just building relationships, being who they are. Mm-hmm. Like, that's where the end game is. And as you know, we hire assistants for them. And some of them now have 2 assistants that they've earned. And so the idea is take these people who have the talent, who have the network and the drive to go out there and like be their best selves and take as much business as they possibly can. And we're going to support them and build a team around them. Like, that's the end goal. The problem is like too many people come in and they see themselves, this is going to sound bad, but like as equals. They don't realize like that Ryan, my brother, or Lisa, or like some of these people that have been doing this Ryan's been doing this for like 12 years. I don't know. Like, so yeah, you can be like, oh, well, you might have started a year ago, but you're going on the same sales retreats, you're seeing them, you're in the same meetings, you're treated equal on the same level on paper, but you don't realize like the work that Ryan put in to get to where he was at over years and years. And I think for like younger folks coming in, they have their expectations they're going to be there sooner. And my message when we do our interview process, this, like I'm usually the first or second interview. I try to scare them out of it, especially if they're new. Like, this is going to be so hard. You're going to make less money than you've made in years. You're going to work harder than you made in years. I really try to like set the expectations so they know what they're signing up for. So we're not investing time and energy into someone who's going to be like, that was fucking hard, right? Mm-hmm. And even with that, even recently, like we've seen some folks leave after 3 months because they're like, it's fucking hard.
Or 3 weeks. Yeah.
3 weeks. So I think to come around to your question is like, I feel like in this job, anyone can be successful. Like anyone. There's let's call it the best salesperson over here, the most charismatic, likable, awesome person with a huge network. And then maybe you've got someone over here who's more of like a wet blanket, right? Like maybe they've got some other skills, but it's not necessarily people. I truly feel that both of these people can be successful. It's going to take this person a lot less time than it's going to take this person. Probably a lot less phone calls, a lot less meetups, a lot less effort. But I still think that wherever you land in there, like if you put in the work, and the work is like you're making phone calls, you're going to every networking event, you're on social media, you are grinding. If you put in the work, eventually it's going to click. Like anyone can do it. And I think that's the biggest issue is I see people, we have LOs, some of them have been with us. They were with us for like a year before all of a sudden like, boom.
Yeah.
And they're above 2 million. Now, I'm going to call out Jill Beatty because I think she said this in one of her prior podcasts, like she was looking to quit at a certain point.
Yeah. I think everybody does at some point.
Yeah.
It is hard.
Imagine quitting at month 9 when it was month 13 that really took, So my message is typically like, I tell people like, commit to a year and just follow the playbook. And I'll tell you the playbook. I'll tell you exactly what you need to do. And if you do that for a year and you fail, like I haven't thrown out any guarantees, but I personally think that it's impossible. If you go in and you do all the work, like, and again, what is failure to one person to the next? But I think the answer is just like grit, grind, and patience. Like, and just come in and like the other thing is someone might make 100 calls a week, like 100 calls a day for months and they don't have any loans. Like this isn't working. No, it's working, right? But like you're just planting all these seeds because you can call up me right now. I own a couple hundred units and be like, oh, this guy's a whale. I'm not looking to buy right now. That doesn't mean that like I might not be in a month or 6 months or a year, but you can get a hold of investors that are not super, or maybe they're mid flip and they're like 3 months out. That's fine. You're going to call them every month for 3 months and just check in and see how they're doing. But it's not an instant gratification game. So you might have made 100 calls, had 15 to 20 conversations of letting them know who you are, introducing you to them. You might be calling on that person for a year or two. Like even to this day, I recruit.
Yeah, they show up and it's like,
hey man, I appreciate. Like even today, I recruit. I pulled a list like 3 years ago, and it was like 40 loan officers that I targeted. And if you're on the list, you'll know my secret now. I basically, what I do is I calendar just an hour a week. That's it. And I call through these people. And there's a couple folks that took 2 years. And I'm just like, hey, it's me again. How you doing?
How's it going?
And granted, these people are happy where they're at, right? Mm-hmm. I'm calling them, trying to get them to come over here. I try calling a Rain City loan officer right now. It's like impossible. They love it here, right? But I'm talking to people that love it where they're at. And my pitch is super soft. I'm like, hey, if you're happy, awesome, stay there. But I'm going to call you every 6 months for the rest of your life. And if the rare occasion comes that you're not, I just want to be the first person you call. And I like throw some humor in there. No one's offended by that. Like, okay, sweet. And when I call, there's people, they see me, Ian, what's up, man? And they just know I'm doing my 6 month check-in. Or they'll text me. And my voicemail might be like, hey, no need to call me back, just seeing how you're doing. Hope everything's well, man. Want to remind you I'm here. Let me know if you need anything.
Yeah. That's just to be in front of you. Yeah.
Just boom, boom, boom. So if you take an investor that like whether they're in the flip cycle or they're sitting the time out and you set dates to call them back every month, every 3 months, whatever it is, eventually it's going to pop.
Yeah.
But if you're expecting to make a call and get a deal, like that's very rare.
Yeah. What were the 3 things you said? It was like something in patience.
grit and grind, which are kind of the same thing.
Grit, grind.
And patience.
Well, you have to grind, but you have to have the grit to make it through the grind and then make it through the patience. Grit, grind, and patience. I like that. It reminds me of Julian.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Julian.
It took him a little bit, and then all of a sudden
he didn't do shit for a year.
Yeah.
He's just making the phone calls, doing the things, you know, fake it till you make it, right? And then right at a year, it was like, bam. And then, you know, third year in, he's fucking crushing it.
We're like 7 months into the year, and he's number one in volume.
Yeah. Like the dude, like, he came out swinging, and he was like, I'm going for the fucking belt, you know, like I'm gonna take everybody out. And it's so fun to watch when, you know, you see people, you know, that actually do the things and they stick with it. And over time, you're like, man, because I mean, there's definitely like a handful of times at least that Julian was like, I don't know, man, I got to do something else. I got to make money. I got to pay the bills, right? Yeah. And I mean, life and circumstances and everything all in between happens. But yeah, it is true, man. That's what I always tell people too. I'm like, the first year is going to blow. Yeah. Just don't expect anything out of the first year. Yeah. Come in with the expectations of that. But I mean, there are some people that do though, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, we got some folks on the roster that are like making, you know, 100 calls a day. Yeah. And I'm going to like throw one name out here, and I hope he's listening. But like the thing that Chad has impressed me with is I've been preaching this. This like if you've heard me pitch this. Just do the work, put the time in, just playbook, like same shit that I say every interview. I've been waiting for that person to come in and do exactly what I said. Mm-hmm. Like everyone says they're going to come in and make all these calls. Oh yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. No problem. They're not afraid. Yeah, they don't. Chad came in. He did it. Like he made more calls than anyone had ever made that that I've seen since I've been here. He just was patient and grinded up. And I think like in 3 months he hit 2 million. Yeah. Which takes people like a year. Mm-hmm. And it was like, for me, it was so, I can't take credit in what he did because he's just a grinder. Yeah, he did the work. But for me, it was so reassuring to be like, it does work. See, like it does work. And it fucking works. Yeah. And he's, you know, most people don't give it the time or they give it the time, but they don't give it the grind. Yeah. And, you know, they fail. All right. Straight out of Ian's mouth. Grit, grind, and patience. That's it. I like it. I'm going to fucking use that. Yeah, it just came out. I think that's great. I'll use it too. It just came out. The good nuggets. Grit, grind, and patience.